Pakistan are on the brink of winning a test match, and do you know what? They 100% deserve it in this game. They took a risk with their team selection. They dropped Barber, they dropped Nazim, they dropped Shaheen Shah Afridi, and they picked three spinners, knowing that the pitch was still relatively flat, and if they lost the toss and were asked to bowl first, England would have won this game by 600 runs. What actually happened is that they won the toss, they chose to bat, they put on a perfectly good total, which now looks fine. They probably left a few runs out there in the first innings. I thought England bowled well, but the pitch then deteriorated at tea yesterday, as we spoke about, and then just kind of carried on. I mean, England had 40 runs to their overnight total. Jack Leach scores 25 of them. No one else really contributes out of that lower order. And then Pakistan looked like they're in trouble. I wouldn't say trouble. I mean, the lead was what, 235 when they were 156 for 8. But then Salman Agha makes 63 off 89. He has been a thorn in this England side the entire time, this entire series so far. He makes 63 with Sajid Khan, who is having an absolutely incredible test match. He comes into the side, he does funny celebrations, he's got a funny moustache, he's got no hair. It's just bald spinners. I don't know what it is about bald spinners. They just do something, especially bald off spinners. He makes 22, gets Pakistan up to 221 all out after 60 overs. I thought England actually bowled all right, apart from the kind of in that ninth wicket partnership where they just seemed to lose their head. They couldn't catch. I mean, Jamie Smith put in Salman down for 6 and 8. I think we're gonna regret that. I think that's massively gonna be not great. Leach takes 3 for 67. Bashir takes 4 for 66. Cast takes 2 for 29. And how good has Cast been, by the way? He's been unreal. Potts takes 1 for 19. Stokes bowls 5. Root bowls 4. There's not much else there, and which meant that England had to have to chase down 297. And how do they do that? Duckett gets out third ball of the innings for a duck, because obviously he's basically the coach of India at the moment, and he saw India be bowled out for 46, which we'll talk about at some point, and think, I've got to go with my brothers. I've got to lead this team by example and also get a duck. So that's India's 6th duck of the day. He goes for a second ball duck. Crawley goes for 3. That was always going to happen. I actually put a bet on Crawley getting under 20 runs because it just felt like the biggest, the most easiest money you'll ever make in your life. It's a low turning pitch, and Crawley just doesn't do well. Bouncy pitches with a bit of pace in it that you can just whack around. That's Crawley. Low turning, slow. That's just not his pitch. He's just not going to do it. And Pope and Root got us through to the end. I thought Pope looked all right. I think Root looks all right. I mean, there's a ball to get him out. It's just whether Pakistan can bowl it. I mean, the pitch is still doing some stuff. Sajid Khan and Noman Ali both opened the bowl, and they both took 1 wicket apiece. They went more after Sajid Khan than they did Norman Ali. England, if England chase this down, it's a miracle. I can't see us doing it, I have to admit. I just think that there's too many runs on the board. I think 200 would have probably been too much. I think 300 is definitely too much. And yeah, there's some drop chances, but I don't want to put too much criticism on England because I think they've kind of done the right thing. There's a few stupid shots in there. There's a few kind of, let's take a step back from this and look at the game situation, and maybe we'll just kind of hunker down for a bit. That can always happen, but I just think this team is going to live and die by the sword. I don't think you can have it either way. You can't be annoyed at Duckett's duck today, sweeping and getting a top edge and being caught by Rizwan, and then appreciate his century in the first innings. Are they 2 different match situations? Yes, probably. If Duckett's there at the end of play, you know that there was a lot of spin late on yesterday. it did seem to flatten out a little bit when Pakistan were batting, but I don't know if that was England bowling poorly or if that was, I don't know. It was at a stage where it looked like the wind had gone out of England slightly. You had Ben Stokes shouting, cast his foot out, and he's had 2 drops in 3 balls. So I understand where he was coming from, but I mean, Pakistan are massively favourites to win this game. I would be amazed. It's going to take. I think it takes one of these two to score a ton. Unless if we're not 150 for 2 at lunch tomorrow, I think this game's done. Maybe for 3, but I don't know. Ben Stokes is still to come. Jamie Smith can bat. Cast can bat. Potts can bat. Leach proved that he can bat. I mean, I think we do bat all the way down to 10. I do think Bashir's a genuine 11. So there's some runs, but I think it's only going to get harder to bat on this pitch. So it's going to be a very interesting morning session tomorrow. I'll be up at 6 a.m. to watch it because I'm relatively interested to see what's going to happen. But I think Pakistan are going to win. I checked in on this score after a bit of a rain break on my way to work this morning, and India were 34 for 7. 34 for 7. They end up getting bowled out for 46. 40. I couldn't comprehend it in my mind. This is the same team that scored like 290 in like 40 overs the other day to try and win a test match. This is the same. Well, it's not the same team, but it's the same nation that scored 297 in a T20 game the other day. 46 all out. Jaiswal made 13. Rishabh Pant made 20. And then the rest of them, 2 duck, 2 1 4. Extras, 3rd high scorer, joint with Mohammad Siraj, who got 4 off 16. I mean, how? The ball was swinging. New Zealand bowled well. And India played some horrible shots. Rohit Sharma came out and said that in his post-match press conference, he just got the toss wrong. He didn't think that it would seam. He thought it would just be flat and bat, score 400 and be done. You've got a better spin bowling attack than New Zealand do, and try and bat aggressively, put some time into the game and win it in 4 days. Well, there's probably going to be a result. The weather still looks horrendous, but I mean, India being bowled out for 46 will definitely speed it along a bit. Tim Southee took 1 for 8 as he opened the bowling. And then Matt Henry and Will O'Rourke have somehow taken 9 wickets between them for 37 runs. 9 for 37 their joint figures were. Matt Henry, 13.2 overs, 3 maidens, 5 for 15. I think I was looking at his stats or something. Like, his stats in the last year, he's averaging like 14 with the ball. I do think he's going to be a real handful when it comes to England playing in New Zealand this winter. It would be interesting to see how it goes. But I have to admit, I did see that India got bowled out for 46, and I thought, okay, well, New Zealand's going to get bowled out for like 120. This pitch is doing all sorts. India have got Bumrah. And then we'll kind of play from there. India 50 runs behind and trying to dig themselves out of a hole. I thought that was how this was going to go. But Devin Conway had other plans. He scores 91 off 105 with 3 sixes thrown in there. He probably deserved to go to his 100 as New Zealand finished the day 180 for 3. 180 for 3. They already lead by 134 runs. We've got 7 wickets remaining, a fair bit of batting to come. Rachin Ravindra and Daryl Mitchell are both there at the moment, and you've just got to think there's a pretty good chance that New Zealand go into the 3rd innings with like a 300 lead. I mean, you could definitely see New Zealand get up to 350 from here, especially if those kind of overheads and the bit of a rainy conditions go. I could definitely see that happening. I don't know what's going to happen with the weather. It would be very funny for India to be saved being bowled out for 46 by 3 days of rain now, which is probably what the forecast says. But fair play to New Zealand. And India, what are you doing? So Pakistan about to beat England. India being bowled out for 46 by New Zealand. This is the biggest shock of the day. South Africa beat Australia women. I didn't see this coming. Australia women just looked so dominant for the whole tournament. They never looked like losing a game. And South Africa have hammered them, like genuinely hammered them. Okay, bit of a tough start for Australia. They start 18 for 2. But Beth Mooney scores 44, Talia McGrath 27, Elise Perry 31. Phoebe Litchfield pitches in with a 16 off 9 towards the end. Yeah, I'm up to 134 for 5. Okay, it's not great, but it's been a low scoring tournament so far. And you think Australia will see this through. Their fielding's too good, their bowling's too good, and everything else in the middle's just too good. But South Africa women have just laughed at that. Laura Vulvart, 42 off 37. Bosch scores 74 off 48 as they chase down the total with 16 balls remaining, with 8 wickets remaining. I mean, they have made that look so easy. And they make it through to, I think it's like their 3rd consecutive World Cup final. And they've just completely put the hammer down on Australia. A team that I thought was so set on winning this tournament. I didn't see a way that any other team could win it, especially when England went out. I thought England might have a chance, but wow. I mean, just wow. How? I don't get it, but fair play to South Africa. They go through to the final that's been played Sunday? I think it's Sunday. You'd imagine it would be Sunday. Australia don't defend their title, which I'm really shocked by. Do think that they're probably still the best team, but that gap is just keeps getting smaller. And South Africa just looked incredible. I mean, fair play to them. They're going to be my pick to win it all now. And finally, West Indies versus Sri Lanka in the final of the 3 T20I series. And West Indies score 162 for 8, despite being, 52 for 6 at one point. In a real spot of bother, you're thinking, okay, West Indies had a collapse in the last game. Are we looking at another collapse? But no, the middle to lower order really helped them out. They went from 62 for 5 to 162 for 8 after their 20 overs. Rodman Powell scores 37, Moti scores 32, Romario Shepherd scores 18, and you think, okay, might be defendable. There might be 10, 15 runs short, but not a terrible bowling attack for West Indies. And you think that they might be able to defend it. Theekshana and Hasaranga both take 2 wickets apiece for Sri Lanka. But then Sri Lanka have just made this look so easy. Nasanka scores 39. Kushal Mendes scores 68 and Kusal Pereira scores 55 as they chase down the total with 9 wickets remaining and 2 overs left. Moti picks up the only wicket. Roston Chase and Moti were relatively inexpensive, but the rest of them you're looking at over 10 and over. Romario Shepherd goes at 8, but just not great for West Indies. There was so much hope after the first win, but after that they've just looked poor. Like they just haven't looked on top. They've kind of got to a par score and not looked to push beyond it. There's been a couple of collapses, and I don't know. I still think the West Indies. I don't know. It's funny. It's a funny game, T20 international cricket, because I think anyone can beat anyone on their day, but anyone can look like the worst team in the world on their day. It is just so volatile, that format. But I mean, there's positives to take away for West Indies. Sri Lanka win a series at home, which you'd expect them to do, and I think they've done pretty well. I expect Sri Lanka to win the ODIs 3-0 because I think Sri Lanka are a better ODI side than the West Indies, and they're playing at home, but who knows? That's going to be my prediction, is 3-0 Sri Lanka. Fair play to the both of them. Guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I very much hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to leave a like. Please remember to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.